The final homecoming. The late Queen Elizabeth II returned from Scotland to London 5 days after her death, to spend one last night at Buckingham Palace, the building which shaped her entire life. Guided in toward the gates by the lights of her subjects' mobile phones. In the wet and the cold, thousands had waited outside while waiting inside her family. Charles, Camilla, Anne, Andrew, Edward, William, Kate and Harry and Meghan. Together with their matriarch, grief bringing unity again. A private moment before a very public farewell. After 24 hours lying in state in Edinburgh, the Queen of Scots was carried out of St Giles Cathedral, the only sound, the lament of a lone piper. Shouldered by the kilted pallbearers, her coffin was loaded carefully into the hearse, the next stage of her long journey, the Royal Mile, the first of many, back to London. The Queen loved Scotland. It seemed beyond doubt that Scotland loved her too.
A lot of memories, sad and happy, and we're just very proud to have been here.
It's just a wonderful, amazing, emotional day, and our heart just goes out toward the family. The strain and the pain.
Gently rolling past crowds of roadside well-wishers, this was Scotland's final farewell to their monarch and, for many, their neighbour. The Queen spent so much time at her Balmoral estate. It was, in her own words, where some of her happiest memories were made.
We'll remember this day for the rest of our life.
Sad, but lovely. Miss her terribly, I think. Everybody will, I think.
Prince Charles had prayed last week for flights of angels to take his mother. Today, it was an RAF C-17. The world leader on a Globemaster. A huge aircraft for such a small coffin, a measure of the enormity of the moment. Only last year, the hull of this giant cargo plane was full of refugees fleeing Afghanistan. Escorting the Queen for this entire trip, her only daughter, Princess Anne. She'd take the flight as well, with her mother for the final days of her life and her first days in death. The Princess Royal saying in a statement it had been an honour and a privilege to accompany her on her final journeys. To my mother, the Queen, thank you, she said. Like every Queen's flight, this one bore the call sign Kitty Hawk. Air traffic control will hear that signal no more. Then from the bright sunshine of the Scottish Highlands to a wet and wounded London, a city soaked in grief. The King's colour for the Royal Air Force lowered in salute by the Honour Guard. Their former Commander-in-Chief had returned. There was no band, no music. Met at the airport by the Queen's 15th and final Prime Minister. Princess Anne's duty done, the coffin handed to police protection for the final run home. The entire 1 hour route into the capital was lined with people ignoring the conditions to stand in the rain and pay tribute. The nearer she came, the bigger the crowds, the louder the cheers. Again and again along the route, Her Majesty brought traffic to a standstill. Drivers parking their cars on the motorway. They didn't want to miss their chance to honour the Queen or to witness this. It was the first time this hearse had been used, a modified Land Rover. It was designed with the help of the Queen. The oversized windows and interior lights allowing the public a clear view of her coffin. Her old adage, she had to be seen to be believed, true even in death. Inside, the casket no longer draped in the royal standard of Scotland, replaced with that of the United Kingdom. So she is home after a history-making, emotion-filled journey from Balmoral to Buckingham Palace, 500 miles. There is 1 mile to go Westminster, where Britain will have its final chance to say goodbye. Authorities had altered and extended the route into the palace to take Her Majesty past more crowds, more mourners, more witnesses to history. The police escort delivered her to the palace gates, their heads bowed, job done.
God bless you. God bless you.
Gently driven through those gates and into a very private homecoming, one night with family before she's handed back to the nation.
And let's go to Chris Reeser now, who's back live at Buckingham Palace. Chris, of all the days we've seen so far, this will be the most emotional yet.
Well, from her official London residence, Mark, here up the Mall, where so many have gathered and cheered and celebrated the important milestone moments of the last 70 years of Queen Elizabeth's reign. And of course, most recently for the Platinum Jubilee just in June. Well, it turns out that was a farewell party. Today, though, their chance to come together again to say a very personal goodbye, and they will be, Mark, so very close to the Queen's coffin and the King and the Princes walking behind. And that, of course, will evoke memories of Princess Diana's funeral 25 years ago. And today, just as then, they will walk in absolute silence.